it's Jimmy here, welcome to Drumnet, and today Jimmy nak kongsi bersama korang loop yang baru which I'm working on, which is called the Reggae Tan groove. Okay, so the Reggae Tan groove dia macam reggaeton sikit, and at the back there's going to be a bit of a dancehall kind of groove. So the idea behind this drum is to dapat macam sikit Sean Paul punya feeling, ada nak dance sikit, get your shoulders moving. And the drums yang Jimmy choose today is, as usual, my trusty kick drum, which is a vintage Tama Superstar, which gives you this big kick bottom and it's really awesome. I'm using a 10-inch tom by Mapex, I'm using a 16-inch floor tom by Mapex, and of course I'm using a 16-inch floor tom by Raggae. So it's a vintage stainless steel floor tom. For the snare, Jimmy guna Rogers snare. Snare ni vintage and dia ada tone yang kering, or shall we say a dry kind of tone. So I will have a very nice dry slap, pa! But with a bit of post-processing, macam you compress the snare a bit, tambah sikit reverb, you can kind of get a very nice control over your reverb because your snare is dry. For cymbals, Jimmy guna Bosphorus standard K blend hats by Bosphorus, also Bosphorus syncopation series, right, which I use as a crash because dia dapat satu crash yang besar, so I need a big crash on the one when I change sections. Also, just to give that sikit tambourine punya feel, Jimmy gunakan Q-Flip cymbals. This one's a bit different from the PFSD because dia punya ring is made from a cymbal. So, response dia brighter sikit. I guess that's it for the drums. Here's a little word from our sponsors at Rhythm and Riff before we head on to the mic setup.
Available at rhythm-riff.com.
Alright, I'm back from tukar underwear, tukar seluar dalam, merah jadi hitam, hitam jadi merah. Whatever. Anyway, thanks for watching that from our sponsors by Rhythm and Riff. Now, let's get back to our mic setup. This loop is special today because the mics I use today is all by Bayer Dynamic. So, I love the mics and I love the build. They're made in Germany and they're solid, so the sound is amazing. So kita start dengan favorite I yang overhead ke atas ni. It's my pleasure to announce that on the tops of my overheads, I'm using a M160, which is a ribbon mic, and the ribbon mic is so awesome because when you crank it up, you get these frequencies which are very 200k all the way to up to the mids, and you have this body. So these are also great for recording guitars. But I use them as an overhead because ala nak copy John Bonham, because they use this for the recording back in the 70s and 60s also. So I'm so excited to use this M160 above. And for the snare drum, snare drum is another topic. Snare drum, I'm using a Bayer Dynamic M201. So M201 ni dia is a hypercardioid, is a mic, hypercardioid mic, and jadi dia lebih body dari SM57 lah, the way I look at it. SM57 is a great mic, and it gives you that texture, and also bila you EQ snare, ada times that you want to boost a certain frequency from the 57, maybe 6 to 8k to get that crack from the snare drum. But with the Bayer Dynamic M201, it is like a much bigger SM57 with the right frequencies at that range. So I don't need to boost that frequency. You know, when I slam on this mic, top and bottom just works right away. All I do is slam the filter, here filter, just boost the mid a bit, just to give this snare to come out. So the M201 on the snare drum is awesome. And then on the hi-hats, Jimmy gunakan MC930. So this is a condenser. The clarity from this and the stick definition you get from here to here is very clear. It is crisp. Yang kita panggil crispy. Macam potato chip. Crisp. And they're very bright, they're very clear, they're very transparent. These can also become overhead, tapi tengok what I'm recording next. So maybe I'll use this next for overhead for something which is very clear. For the toms, Jimmy gunakan TGD 58 untuk tom yang atas and TGD 57 for this 16 floor tom. Yang additional floor tom ni, Jimmy gunakan TG 151. It's one of the new mics from Bass Dynamic. You can use it as a floor tom mic or tom mic. Tapi frequency yang mamat ni capture sedap, and it's very round. It has a lot of body, so it captures low floor toms really well. So it's the TG 151 for the floor tom. For the kick drum, finally TGD 71 dah ada teman, which is the TGD 70. So TGD 70 kat luar, TGD 71 kat dalam. One boundary and one front. So these two couple together, kababoom, your kick. And right, so far that's it for the mic setup, and thank you for joining me on this episode of the Reggae Tan Drum Groove at Drumnet. So do support us, head down to Drumnet, check out our social medias on Facebook and Instagram. Do head on down to Rhythm and Riff where our drum loops and samples are. We are having an offer there. Head down, get it for RM25 for 5 loops of your choice, and you can use it, you can cut it up, you can use my snare drum samples and make your own beats and be happy. Check it out, check it in, and I'll check you soon. Hey, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube and then follow our Facebook and Instagram. Okay, bye.
Drumnet.